Good afternoon. How are you? Where are you? May I do a composition of place with you? Will you humor me in this moment? I have worked with members of the Society of Jesus for 28 years, and what I love about my Jesuit experience is a simple matter of fact that some people know a lot about a little, and others know a little about a lot, and I have learned that the Jesuits know a lot about a lot. They are mess you up smart. One example of their expansive intellectual bandwidth and illuminating acumen is knowing the origin and meaning of words for key epistemological insights. So when I ask you, will you humor me with a composition of place, what am I asking? What am I talking about? Hue is an ancient Persian word meaning neither male or female, meaning God, and more in Latin means moisture. So humor, is God moisture, isn't it? Will you humor me? Will you gift me with some good old-fashioned God moisture? Indeed, rain for my parched imagination. Undoubtedly, it will take our collective and creative imaginations to respond to our call as Jesuit Catholic universities in these challenging economic times. So humor me with a little reality check with where you are right now. Feel your heart. Feel your heartbeat. Are you alive? Is that good news? Say out loud right now, I'm alive. Look at your thumb. There are 7.5 billion people on this third stone from the sun speaking over 6,000 languages. And no one has that fingerprint, that birthmark you're looking at right now. Are you unique? Say out loud right now, I'm unique. Look around. Are you surrounded by beauty? To someone to your east, to your west, to your north, to your south, tell that person, you are beautiful. You are beautiful. We have established that you're alive, you're unique, and surrounded by beauty. This is our beginning point, our position and relationship to navigating the spaces that balance our economic realities with our call to the margins. When I was a young man, I met a tribal elder from Nia Bay, a Macaw Indian, who told me about a time when he was a merchant marine in the early 20th century, before electronic positioning devices and other relational technologies existed. In those days, out there in the middle of the ocean, they navigated by and with the stars, using the stars with a methodology called deducted reckoning, DR. Let me explain. With deducted reckoning, there are 3 reference points to know where you are in relationship to where you go or where you're going to go. The first reference point is where you are. The second reference point is the horizon, that sacred geometry where the sky meets the earth in a perfect line. And the third point is a star, any star in the sky, and that makes a triangle. For Emmett Oliver, the star Capella was his favorite, and he could always find it, no matter where he was. The deducted reckoning is a triangle that is made, and you can be located anywhere within that triangle. The more reference points, the more precision one possesses with respect to where you are in relation to where you are going. In order to become a practical visionary and a midwife of the Magis, which is the title of my talk today, I would propose 3 institutional soul questions that will serve as our 3 reference points to navigate through the challenging economic times and our quest to respond to our call as Jesuit Catholic universities. Question 1, soul question 1. Do we have the courage to answer the challenge and opportunity of St. Ignatius' prayerful petition, teach us to give and not to count the cost? We all know the current mantra, no money, no mission. Money is power. Is it possible to speak truth to the face of power? If power is the ability to define reality and persuade others to adopt that definition of reality and act in accordance with that definition of reality, and if economic models are resident power on our campuses, in this speaking truth to the face of economic power, do we have the courage to redefine our relationship with money? Are we willing to get out of our comfort zone and reimagine how we can collectively leverage our institutional resource base for a greater good. Soul question 2. Do we have the creativity to really believe that reality is really saturated with the active presence of God in all things? St. Ignatius invites our creativity with his executive coaching around suggesting, let your soul hold itself tranquil and peaceful, ready to respond to the action of God. The margins is where God is present and active. And as John Sobrano claims, quote, if reality speaks and God can speak in it, especially if it cries out, then it is listening as a necessary way of realizing our humanity, unquote. Jesuit Catholic universities are willing to exercise our creativity to incorporate the central function of our institutions, which is teaching and learning, into the margins, and capitalize on our institutional strengths. Can we really animate the promise and practice that the world is the real classroom, and the experiences of our students, faculty, staff, and administrators is the living curriculum that contextualizes the academic content of a liberal arts education? Question 3, are we willing to commit to acting upon the belief that all our relationships are the sacred space in which we walk the talk of cura personalis? In The Pilgrim of the Absolute, Leon Blog makes the observation, quote, in his poor heart man has places which do not yet exist, and into them enters suffering in order to bring them to life, unquote. Can we make a commitment to relationships which are mission aligned, demonstrate academic distinctiveness, and are sustainable? I'm an old teacher educator from way back, and I still see culturally responsive teaching addressing 3 elements in relationships. Relationships to people, environments, and tasks. This forms the basis for teaching and learning in culturally different settings at predominantly white institutions. These 3 questions address the issues of courage, creativity, and commitment. Saul Alinsky, in his book Rules for Radicals, made the claim, there is no coincidence that a question mark resembles an inverted plow, breaking up the hard soil of old beliefs, assumptions, and expectations, and preparing the ground for new growth and development. It is my desire in the short time that I have to use with you this afternoon, these 3 questions, to question me and answer to the question, how do Jesuit Catholic universities respond to our call in these challenging economic times? I would like to briefly utilize my lived experience with several initiatives at Gonzaga University to reflect upon these 3 questions that inspires a different relationship to resources, requires a different type of listening to answer the mission call to the margins, and sustains a different relationship to people, environments, and tasks. I've been to Africa 15 times in the last 8 years, a lot of frequent flyer miles, and I've been involved with academic programs in Zambia, Malawi, and Kenya. As many of you know, and I suspect a few of you were actually there, on April 23rd, 2010, a little over 5 years ago, the Superior General for the Society of Jesus, Father Adolfo Nicolas, gave a keynote entitled Challenges to Jesuit Higher Education, Depth, Universality, and Lived Ministry at the 2010 International Jesuit Higher Education Conference in Mexico City. Approximately 200 Jesuit colleges and universities from throughout the world were represented at this gathering, where Father Nicolas invited us to work smarter and not harder by leveraging the power of collaborative partnerships and more fully optimizing the global Jesuit network of higher education for a greater good. In this conference, participants were introduced to a new initiative called Jesuit Commons, Higher Education at the Margin, or JCHEM. It is designed to bring several Jesuit colleges and universities in collaboration, partnership with Jesuit refugee services to deliver higher education to refugee camps throughout the world. Gonzaga University is a collaborative partner with at least 7 other American Jesuit colleges and universities, organized around delivering online courses for a 3-year diploma program in liberal arts, liberal studies. Regis University graciously serves as a degree-conferring institution, and one of our tenured senior faculty members and a former dean of the School of Professional Studies here at Gonzaga, Dr. Mary McFarland, currently serves as the international director for JCHEM. I assist her in my role as the Gonzaga institutional liaison. Several Gonzaga faculty representing diverse academic disciplines have taught online classes for the JCHEM program in refugee camps in Kenya and Malawi. Regis University, Marquette University, the University of San Francisco, Seattle University, and Georgetown, to name a few, have also had faculty teaching courses for JCHEM programs. Jesuit Refugee Services listens to the needs of the refugees living in the camps, as well as preparing for resettlement. The saying that many hands make for light lifting rings true with this initiative, where each institution contributes resources to the JCHEM mission. JCHEM also attracts and receives external grant benefaction. And the challenge and opportunity, though, is to leverage this international engagement at the margins for direct campus-based benefit to faculty and students. I have seen the cultural pedagogical needs of JCHEM become an opportunity for Gonzaga professors to deepen their practice of culturally responsive teaching. However, an ongoing challenge is how to more effectively engage our undergraduate and graduate campus-based students with the JCHEM program and its students. The nature of delivering higher education programs at the margin of a refugee camp, in Kenya or Malawi, undoubtedly activates our courage to give and not count the cost. My lessons learned from the African-based GU programs on how to respond to our call in these challenging economic times are motivated by a provincial twinning agreement between the Oregon province and the Zambia-Malawi province. These mission-based initiatives began as faculty-led study abroad programs, supported by tuition and student fees, as well as Zambian collaborative partners making contributions. We currently have 3 project sites in Zambia: Zambezi in the north, the western area east of Angola; Chifungi is in the north, east area, south of the Congo and the Kafue River; and Charles Lwanga College of Education in the Chikuni Mission, about a 4-hour drive south of Lusaka, the capital city of Zambia. Let me offer a brief description of each of these programs and how they align with our mission. Zambezi is our comprehensive leadership program site, where students and faculty are engaged in academic service learning programs and initiatives involving engineering, business, nursing, and ESL. One notable program is the Zambian Gold Honey Project, where a group of business students have assisted with empowering regional area bee farmers to cooperatively organize around producing and marketing their honey to American markets. The profits return to the bee farmers and the communities in which they reside. The Honey Project has been going on since 2008, and it successfully models sustainability, academic distinctiveness, the applied knowledge of our students, and mission alignment. The Chifungi site is our second Zambian project, and it is based at an international chimpanzee rescue and research center. Students majoring in psychology, biology, and other arts and sciences disciplines participate in credit-bearing courses offered at the Chifungi Center by Gonzaga faculty. Our third and final Zambian site is the Charles Lwanga College of Education, a Jesuit-owned and operated 2-year teacher preparation college. And through the Jesuit provincial twinning agreement process, we learned from Charles Lwanga one of their major strategic desires is to build the institutional capacity to become a 4-year college, as well as improve instructional quality. Gonzaga responded to this Charles Lwanga College of Education need in the Zambian Ministry of Education requirement to have master's degrees for all lecturers by providing a 2-year graduate program for 25 Charles Lwanga lecturers, resulting in a master's degree in educational leadership. In fact, they graduated this past December. Improving education in Zambia is a major strategy for nation building a democratic society. As many of you know, the United Nations Human Development Index shows a strong correlation between literacy, poverty, and violence. That is to say, the higher the literacy, the lower the poverty, and reduced violence. Each of these programmatic experiences, we were challenged to answer our mission call to the margins through trying to figure out ways to authentically align our campus-based curriculum and academic programs with the needs of our Zambian twinning agreement partners. The Charles Lwanga College of Education project was based on an economic model that had 3 funding sources, 1 from Gonzaga University and 2 from Zambian benefaction, as well as student contributions. Students had some, as they say, skin in the game. In addition, we hope that the study abroad experiences of our students and faculty does contribute to our desire for campus internationalization and capacity build interculturally competent faculty across the College of Arts and Sciences, as well as several of our other professional schools. An ongoing challenge is to establish and sustain a more bidirectional relationship with our Zambian faculty, colleagues, and their students. Right now, we are very limited in the opportunities for Zambian faculty and students to engage in Gonzaga-based initiatives and academic programs. The institutional soul questions invites courage to be disturbed with a different relationship to resources, to money. The creativity of listening for the active presence of God in all things is part of any needs assessment process. And the commitment to walk the talk of cura personalis and sustaining relationships with community partners have been at the heart of my lessons learned in experiencing deducted reckoning, of balancing our economic realities with our call to the margins. Touch your heart. Look at your thumb. Look around. You are alive, you're unique, and you're surrounded by beauty. You have the courage, the creativity, and the commitment to respond to your call to these challenging times with engagement at the margins, which is mission-aligned, embodies your academic distinctiveness for all stakeholders, and is sustainable with a diverse financial resource base. Like St. Ignatius of Loyola, let us incarnate the spirit and intent of being a practical visionary, be able to fly those kites and drive those nails, and be the midwife of the Magis by how we navigate the balancing act of our economic realities with the call to the margins. Thank you for your time. Have a good conference. In the spirit of our ancestors, may the blessings be. Thank you.